Hey there, guys. Welcome back to the Rockford Ordnance. We are here tonight with our live stream, Coffee and Kalashnikovs, December 21st, 2021. That's 12/21/21. Kind of an interesting date, don't you think? We got some fun ahead of us tonight. We are going to be talking about what probably is, I'll say possibly, is the world's best, well, in my opinion, one of the best, most used, most battle tested, toughest optic sighting system there is out there. Very um, malleable. We can use it on several platforms, just about anything, and works great. And we're going to go over from the beginning a lot of the different variants of it. We've also got a little collectible here, an AK collectible we're going to go over with you. And we're going to share the reason these sites come up is we're going to share one of our GTW rifles, that's Go to War rifles, and we're going to kind of share what's in the build. We did a little of it last week, but we've added to it, and it's finally done, and we'll go over it. And then we're going to talk about an AK that we adopted, made its way into our little AK family today, and I think you guys will be excited. So we got a lot to cover, and then as always, once I get through what I have to go through, we're going to go through what you want to go through. We're going to go through your questions. We're going to answer questions, whether they're technical questions about guns, rifles, firearm community, shooting, competition, ammo, whatever there is, we will answer it. We also have a report on our Buy 39 project. We went out this weekend with super high hopes, and not due to any ammo issues. Well, I shouldn't say that. My hopes were dashed upon the rocks of reality, is all I can say. Bad enough to where I don't even know if I'll put a video out on it this week. We'll see. I guess I should show you guys the good with, or the bad with the good, right? If we're going to be an honest channel and upfront and basically tell you what we found. It was pretty much our mistake anyways, so we'll just show you that, yep, we make mistakes too, lots of them, and sometimes dumb mistakes, just not thinking. So we'll go over it. Maybe you guys can add a little and add in, so we'll see. But that being said, let's jump in real quick, see who's here right off the bat, and then we'll get going. So Joe's here. He said, missed these. What'd you miss, Joe? I don't know what you missed. He says, good news from gun shops this week. Ammo is back. Same as components. Prices aren't the best, but it's there. Limits are gone and things are well stocked. Exactly what I said happened by us last week. There's volume. There's you can buy ammo in volume. I saw everything from 1,000 round cases to 430 round ammo cans. All the military calibers, handgun calibers, hunting rounds, which we hadn't seen in a long time, and a lot of shotgun ammo coming back, not just slugs and buckshot, but birdshot and a lot of good stuff. Haven't seen the cheap bulk shotgun ammo yet. Lots of 22. One thing I haven't seen and I've been looking for is 5.7. We've got our Ruger 5.7 that I sure would like to get out and shoot a little more. It's such an interesting gun. Got a little bit of ammo for it, but I suppose enough to do a video. We probably got to 50. I mean, are those 50 or 100 round boxes? I forget how they come because they're so small. But we at least have anywhere from 200 to 400 rounds of it. So I guess we could do a nice little video on it. But yeah, ammo's back out there. I've seen, while they're not in stock, I can't walk in and look in the case and they're there all the time. Primers are there occasionally, every few trips. But I've only seen small rifle by us, both military and like CCI, like the 200s and 500s, but mostly just small rifle. However, Midway USA did have small pistol, which was incredible. Grab some of that. There are some powders available on Hodgdon's site and a few others. And there's some brass. I saw a ton of reloading equipment get restocked, everything from presses to kits to dies, big load of Hornady dies, big load of RCBS dies, all kinds of good stuff. So it's coming back. It's there. Um, if you need it or have needed it, I would grab it. Yeah, you never know what's going to come across the news any day, any hour, any minute, right? That could cause another run, and we'd be right back where we were. But hey, for now, it's good. It seems like it's holding steady. Word has it from our partner in the Buy 39 project, Fred at Pickering Custom Firearms and Ammo, that he has word that, we're talking about, ammo prices are stable or may have dropped a little. He's saying that everything he's hearing from his distributors and the ammo companies is that prices are going up and not just a little bit. So it may be time to make a move. I don't know. Like I've always told you guys, I keep stocking, and that way I kind of cost average. I take the good with the bad. There's enough, cheap there to offset some high prices. I won't buy at the ultra high. I never do that. But if there's stuff I need or use consistently, or maybe something I got caught short on, I'll certainly grab some. Some is better than nothing. But at those times, I may not go overboard. I'll wait for a lull, so to speak. Firearms out there. Tons of stuff out there. I stopped at one of our uh, FFLs today. Great guys over at Select Fire Weaponry, and they had a ton of stuff in. I was hoping something would pique my interest. I actually went in there for one thing, but unfortunately, I didn't pull the trigger on time and I lost it. So, but we did manage to see a few neat things there with Chris and Steve and the guys over there. So, great bunch of guys in a great shop. Lots to see, lots to see. I was a little shocked. I remember last week I was talking about dongs on an AK, and that back in the day, Century used to cut them off. And if they advertised Wassers without a dong and with a dong, there's a lot of dong talk. They would by far, the dongless AKs would outsell the dong. That's enough dogs. Would outsell them like 10-1. Nobody wanted them. You couldn't give them away. There were barrels of them. They were laying anywhere. Friends would give them to you. They'd give them away with other stuff at gun shows. You name it, you could get them. Well, I saw a bin of them today for $99 a piece. A couple nice ones, some with trench art. I was always kind of looking for a nice one or two to put away. And I thought, my God, nope, can't do it. So, but I said that about Bakelites too when they were $40, that I would never buy any more Bakelites, and look where they're at. I should have bought them by the ton at $40. But I remember $10 Bakelites, so it just shows how old and feeble I am. Anyhow, let's see who's in here. Joe's here. He talked about the ammo coming back in his area. Fire Rodder's in here. Hello to you too. MZ, hello. Texas Bullet, good to see you here. He says, what up, what up? And Fire Rodder FN is 50 per box. Yeah. It'd be nice if it was 100. It should be 100 for what they charge for that stuff, right? But it is good stuff. Looks like Miguel Valenzuela just stopped in. Kavar has a 2-mag deal right now, black and OD green. Oh, wait a minute. You're not talking about OD green waffle mags, are you? I may have to hurt myself for what I paid for mine if they came back out with a batch of them. I got mine at auction to match actually the gun I'm holding on the thumbnail for this video. I don't know if you guys can see it if you click in, but I've got the OD green mag on the Sam 7 side folder. It looks great with the OD green furniture. Uh, yes, OD green waffle. Oh my God. How much are they? I remember $2.99 Chinese AKs. Yep. My Bakelite side folder, Narinko. $2.99. What's that gun worth today? $5,000, $6,000. Crazy, isn't it? And they were junk. Nobody wanted them. Nobody wanted them. Richard Gower says $2.99. I'm there with you, buddy. I was there. I remember when they'd sell them to you for $2.99, maybe $3.25, and you'd get a case of Norinco yellow box ammo with it, free. Oh God, price is cheaper than the plum waffle as well. They have plum waffles too. Oh my God, I'll have to get over there and check it out. Sometimes they have those other uh, Bulgarian mags in colors, but the waffles they haven't had. I'd be shocked. 125 for the two mags, one black waffle, one OD. God damn. Ah, geez. Well, I'll have to grab a couple. I'm not that old yet. I remember the $500 AKs years ago. Yeah, when I got back into it post ban, like I always told you guys, the cheapest I ever paid, I think, was $2.99 for a Wasser, $4.99 for Yugo underfolder. SKSs were $1.99. All you wanted. Mosin Nagant, $69. Finally went to $99. ARs, however, were expensive. You couldn't touch an AR for under, a cheapie, $800-900, and everything else over 1,000. So how the tables have turned. I've seen ARs I could put together for $2.99, $3.50, or even buy an upper and a lower for in that $300 to $400 range. Still can probably. I know you can. So it's crazy how things have switched up, isn't it? Like they say, every dog has his day, and as the worm turns. But hey, that's what the popularity of the platform has done. While there's certainly money to be spent on ARs, whether you're doing a Gucci build or some super high quality parts or what have you, or maybe some retro Colts or something like that. Sure, there's lots of money there. But the popularity of the AK platform, hey, I give a lot of credit to Rob Ski for some of that. Maybe we should all go after him because he caused these prices. He caused it. Just kidding. And Brandon too. Brandon Herrera. He caused the problem too. He drove the prices up. I'm just teasing, guys. It's awesome that not awesome that the prices are high. But if you look at the market itself and the aftermarket that's available now, we didn't have that back in the day. You know what aftermarket you had? Surplus. Some ratty old Chinese chest rig with a leaky Cosmoline covered oil bottle and a Cosmoline covered little tool kit and a few beat up mags that came with the guns. Oh, and a dirty sling that they gave you. That was your aftermarket. Oh, if you were lucky, you got a Romanian Bakelite uh, bayonet with so the Bakelite so dried out that it was cracking, peeling, and chunking, and the frog was all trashed. That was our aftermarket. Yep. Hey, what are you gonna do? Or maybe you had your choice of some Tapco stuff, a Tapco brake and those ginormous Tapco mags, which, by the way, I never make fun of because I have yet to have a Tapco mag not work right. I have yet to have Tapco mag misfeed, and I have yet to have a Tapco mag break. And I've, trust me, I've beaten the crap out of them. I like the look of those Tapco mags on a few different things. They just have, like on my Mini Draco, the way that's built out, it just looks good. It fits the mag. They're kind of ugly for the most part, but hey, they're not making them anymore. Tapco went BK or whatever they did. And you watch. One day, those Tapco mags will be worth what Bakelite mags are going for. Yeah, maybe not get that far, but you can buy them right now for $5 anywhere, $10 maybe max. And good range mags, certainly. Would I trust my life to them? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? I don't even look. I do when I go to the range or something. I just reach in my bucket or my barrel. I have big old powder kegs, red dot powder kegs from Shotgun Powder that I fill with mags. I got 2 or 3 of those. I think they were more than 8 pounds. They were like 25-pound kegs or something. And I got 2 or 3 filled with AR mags and 2 or 3 filled with AK mags, and I just dump them in there. So I just grab them, and I got an empty one and full ones. And as I load them, I put them in the full. And when I get back from the range, I toss them in the empty bin to be reloaded. And so whatever I pull out, if it's a rusty old Romanian or a Bakelite or a Tapco or a Magpul, whatever I pull out, that's what we take to the range. They get used, and there's not many bad mags out there. There's a few bad AR mags, but as far as AKs go, not too bad. Anyhow, we'll check in on the chat here, and then we're going to get to that optics part I'm talking about here, and we'll go through that real quick, and then we'll get to our M39 project and tell you what went wrong. Let's see who else got in here. Von Killjoy, yes, O Green Waffle. I remember $2.99 Chinese. That's Richard Grauer. Price is cheaper than the plum waffle as well. 30 rounders, 124 pesos. 125 for 2 mags. Okay, we went through that. Where's the new stuff? It is their Christmas special deal. Awesome. Well, I will take part in said Christmas deal. Joe, SKS for me was $150 for a Yugo, and the AR-15 was never around when I was a kid. If they were terrible, I'm glad at least I got a modern rifle for defense I'd have rather than a $500 AK. But the $500 AR got me a starter gun upgraded. Evening, everyone. Dixie Livens here. Good to have you. And I think you said I had a comment or something. I got to it. Thank you. Appreciate it. So we are getting super close to Christmas. You know how I can tell? My business sucks. It's what's the old saying? It's hard to compete with the man in the red suit, right? Well, that's true. So that being said, we're getting ready to have a nice family Christmas and enjoy ourselves. I have a feeling it's going to be a little rough this year, but we'll get through it, and looking forward to it. You know, I love Christmas. For some reason, it doesn't seem like Christmas this year. You noticed last year behind me was the Christmas tree. You guys all made fun of me. Better take it down before it burns up my collection and all that. Well, no Christmas tree this year. Maybe we should have. I don't know. I just don't think they were in the mood. They did put one upstairs, which is nice. My son-in-law to be and my other daughter's boyfriend at Thanksgiving. All of a sudden I said, where'd everybody go? They said they'll be back. And here they come in with the tree. They put it up, big 12 or 15 footer, lights, ornaments, everything, boom, done. And I appreciate that, because one of the things I said when my son passed away was, you don't think of the little things. And he always helped me get the tree in the house, go get it, put it on the car, get it home, get it in the stand, do all those, put the lights on. He was 6'4", so he could get up there and do that. And even with a ladder, I can't get to it. He'd put the angel on top and all that. And I just remember, as a matter of fact, at the time, I think I was just crying my eyes out saying, who's going to help me with that stuff? As you get older, you think your son's there. He's going to take care of you. He's got your 6, right? That's the guy behind you in the stack, right? And so that was nice that they did that for me. They took care of it. So that was cool. But just doesn't seem like Christmas. Don't have any snow. Up north, we got snow, but down here, not much right now. But had a little, it melted off. So we'll see. I don't know. Just doesn't seem much like it. So hopefully we get in the mood here. I don't know. Anyhow, so I've been talking about these sights, the greatest, the best, the toughest, the most tested, the most battle proven, been around a long time. I don't think there's many optics around that have been as tested and proven like these have. And I'll start out with the first one I ever got. And I bought it to put on my first AR, actually. And the price tag is still on it. I got it at a little local shop. And the price on here was cheap for then and cheap for now. And he actually gave it to me, I think, $100 less than this. I couldn't believe the price. So me and my dad each bought one that day. And it was my first dive into any type of sight like this. And what was it? It was an Eotech HWS. This one, as you can see here, is a 512. And the exact model is a 512 A65. It's the standard circle with the dot in the middle. And it was the longer version. That's all there was back then. For some of you younger guys, there was no a short one. These were the long ones that took the double A's. So they always come since day one. They've come in these boxes and they're really well protected. Anyhow, the price tag on here was $449. And I knew the guy there well. I did a lot of business with him and just super nice guy. He ended up, I think I told you guys the story, little hole in the wall mom and pop shop. But anytime you walked in that shop, you were guaranteed that there was going to be something they didn't have last week. And there was always a lot of it and bins of stuff to dig through, sometimes some surplus, mag pouches, mags, this, that, anything. You never knew what you were going to run into. And a lot of surplus rifles and all kinds. Like when he'd get AKs in, he'd get 10 Wassers and there'd be 15 Yugo underfolders and just, Garands, 10, 15 of them. And you had 6 or 7 M1 carbines to pick from and Yugo KSs and K98 German Mausers, Mosin Nagants, and then all your normal stuff too. He'd have sale days. Maybe it'd be 1022 day and he'd have 20 of them. And on Saturdays, he'd have a special price and all. But one of those cool shops, you never know what you were going to find. And he had a few of these that day. And he said, hey, you bought that Stag. My first AR was a Stag Arms, just an M4 pattern, well-built rifle. Still have it. All mil spec, really nicely done. Even from the double for the sling up front, the double hooks, loops, double loop up front, just perfect M4 removable carry handle, birdcage flash hider, M4 copy, and great guns. So this was what I was going to put on it because all I had was the carry handle. I remember back then knowing so little about it that you'd see a flat top AR, and maybe it had the front sight with the removable carry handle, or maybe there was a flat top with no sights, and you thought, what in the heck? What am I going to do with that? How are you going to put a sight? No, you got to put a scope. I don't want a scope on an AR. Nobody puts scopes on. And free float or quad rail handguards were just becoming a thing, And that was the first thing I did. I had to do a drop-in quad rail on it, And I remember I didn't want to either cut off the A1 sight or A2 sight. and I didn't really want to remove it. And I thought, well, I'll just do a drop in. So things were so much different. Accessories for ARs, there was no market like there is today. Oh, God. Yeah, quad rails at best, maybe a grip and different stocks. You could get Magpul stocks and whatnot. There just wasn't a ton out there. Anyhow, so we ended up getting these for about $350, which was a great deal then, a great deal now. But they come in the box, all your paperwork. I still got everything in here. The slip, factory recommended site mounting procedure for knurled weaver bolt. And they put this nice dense foam on top. There's a layer, fits in there. And then there is your sight. There's cutouts for batteries, and then the bigger cutouts looks like for those bigger batteries, the 123s or whatever. But I don't think they made one back then that took those. And then your Allen wrench for adjusting it, and that was it. So when you took this sight out, man, you have no idea how cool this was. If you had this, you were an operator, man. Let me tell you. I just remember thinking, wow, how cool. And they had the big long front on these 512s. These are still available, guys. They're still out there. And you know what? They did have the different ones with the 123 batteries. I remember that. And I was thinking, well, back then, they can be hard to find now. Back then, they were super hard to find. So I thought, who would want one of those? You want the double A's, because you can get them readily any corner. So I got that. And what happened with these, there was a couple things that went on. First of all, I think the government sued them over these. There was a recall on them that it all started with the military, something about temperature changes moving the point of impact. And they had guaranteed and done testing and all that the point of impact wouldn't change. And for whatever reason, on some of them, they proved that it did. So they had the military suing them, and then they had a recall for the commercial general public. And you could either send it back and they would fix it or send you another one, or maybe even refund you money or something. It was a good program. Everybody ended up well healed over it. This is one of those originals. I've never had a problem with it. I know the batteries are low because I had it on the other day. And when the batteries are low and you turn it on, the sight will flash. The ring will flash, and it's totally dead. Oh, no, I got the batteries out of it. What am I doing? So I'll show you guys. They're super easy to mount. And this goes for just about all of them. You mount it on any quad rail, and it's a through bolt that goes through the rail slot, so mounts nicely. And these original ones came with this big knurled knob here. I'll show you. Big knurled knob. So you could just grab it and tighten it, and then just put a nickel. They recommend in the manual using a nickel to tighten it, and that gives you the proper torque. The new ones don't come with the knurled knob. They do sell them, but I don't know. I'll have to look when I open this other one up, and because I sure would like to get a knurled knob. What I really like to get, I'll show you on this one. I went cheap. They're now available with the quick detach, and that's what I should have done. I cheaped out on it though. But anyhow, your controls were back here. So this is looking from the back, and you have a left button and a right button. If you press the left button to turn it on, it'll go on for 4 hours and then shut off. If you press the right button, it'll turn on for 8 hours and then shut off. I always press the 4, and if you press it again, like to change the level, if you keep pressing it, it'll get dimmer, and keep pressing here, it'll get brighter. There are, I got to think here, 20 regular settings and 10 night vision settings. And they're available with or without the night settings as well. or I'm sorry, night vision settings. So to open the battery compartments, it's as simple as flipping up that lever and what the heck happened? Welded it. Oh, there it is. So flip up the battery lever and pop it out. Now, there was another problem with these sights, and it's part of the reason they changed the design. So with these sights, here's the battery compartment, takes two AA's. As you see, the way it aligns here, the batteries go this way. So on recoil, when you're shooting the gun, the sight's doing this, right? Well, guess what the battery's doing? The same thing. It's pounding into the spring and into the contact, spring, contact. It eventually wears out the contact and or the spring, and it ends up not working. So again, Eotech came up with a fix. They still sell these, but part of the reason they went to the shorter ones that are probably only about this long is because they now went with the battery this way, and they don't run into the problem with the contacts wearing out. Now, I've had this where it didn't want to turn on and all, and I got in there with a hook and just pulled the battery a little bit, or the spring, to give it a little more tension, and it worked fine. I've had batteries explode in here and get the corrosion in there on the contacts. I've cleaned them real well and all of this, and it keeps on working. I had them so bad that the batteries were stuck in here, and I still got it to work. Now, you can go on their website. If that happens to you, you can buy the new battery container with new contacts in it, and you can also buy these contact pieces right off their website. So if it happens to you, or you find one where it's all corroded and you get a deal on it, you can get those pieces super cheap and essentially redo it all. Also, you can send them back, and Eotech will work on them. These things never go bad. They're so tough. So this is polymer. The rest of it is all aluminum. The base, the actual sight unit itself, real glass front and back. And then you'll see what some people don't know is this is a whole housing around it. So this protects the actual sight. I've seen these things crushed, bent, smashed over, everything, and they're still working. The great thing about this is not a red dot. It's not a prism sight. It is a holographic sight. That being said, you could smash both of these pieces of glass, look through it, and you'd still see the red dot. It doesn't need it. It's always there. The other cool thing, you get rain on a red dot on the glass. It's horrible. I got a video. I think I was shooting the scorpions with the Holosun, and I literally couldn't make out the sight. It was all distorted because of raindrops. And I think I said in the video, I wish I had my Eotech. I wouldn't have that problem right now. Rain can get on either glass, and it does not distort your picture at all. They can, in some ways, you've all heard of stigmatisms affecting people, and they can't use a red dot. It blurs out on, does weird things. That can happen with this too, but it can also be much better for some people. So if you've got astigmatism and you can't shoot a red dot, it might be worth going to a dealer and looking through one and seeing what you can see, and might work for you. The downfall of this, if there is one, is battery life. I forget exactly, but I want to say it's like 25 hours on this guy. But double A's, carry some with you. Even the stock on the M4 this went on had battery compartments that I could store 4. And if I got an important, I run this right now. Its main home is on my Vepr 12 shotgun. Why? Because you see used to see these all the time. They were kind of iconic when you saw like Russian alpha teams with the Zenitko, all Zenitko'd out, and you'd see Eotechs on top of them. So I ran this on the Krebs gun when I did the Zenitko alpha clone deal. I had this on there for the longest time, but I went to a scope finally, and now this sits on that uh, uh, the uh, the 12, the Vepr 12 shotgun. It's a great way to sight a shotgun because you've got this big open window. You should be shooting your shotgun two-eyed, no matter what sighting system you're using. If you're using the beads, by all means, you should be shooting two eyes open. Trap shooting, skeet, all that, you will be taught to shoot two eyes open, never one eye. Gives you much better field of vision. You can see the bird, whether it's live or clay, all of that, or shooting slugs with this. So great option for shotguns. And it's taken a beating on that shotgun. There were a lot of phonies running around, guys, and some even they all had this code that you scan, and I've seen some that had everything down, the code, everything, and they were fakes. And I'm going to tell you a story what happened to me just the other day and how Eotech helped me out with it. So what it says on the side of this here, and this is how far back this goes, for law enforcement, military use only. Right down the side, right here. Boom. So anyways, you can replace this housing if it gets broke. You can replace the battery compartment. I think it's $20 for the battery compartment. The shroud unscrews, 4 screws, and it's off. You don't want to mess with the back screws because those house all the important stuff in there. And then your adjustments are simple. They're right here. You can adjust it with a screwdriver, a penny, a dime, just about anything. They are half-inch clicks, half MOA clicks. So if you're shooting at 100 yards and you're an inch off, it'd take 2 clicks to move it over. So that is the 12. What was the model number? The 512. There's a couple other designations, and all those designations mean it's like 512 something, or there's a 513 too. They are all the long-nosed ones, and the difference is just whether or not they have the night vision capability and whether or not I think they have a quick detach. But I thought this was the perfect way to go, the thumb knob, because it's, you can take it off with just about anything, but yet you can put it on without making sure you have tools there, just worked out great. Awesome, awesome sight. Let's see real quick if we can fire this thing up, because we haven't talked about the reticle yet. And I don't know how good these batteries are here. I know they were getting low the other day, but it should fire up just fine. Let's see. Positive that way. There's markings on the underside of it, so you can see which way to go on the batteries, because that can be an issue too. So how this goes in is there's a hook right here that hooks in here, and then this goes over. So when I couldn't pull it off before, I had slid it out off the hook. But when you put it on, it goes right in, slides in, flip the lever, and it's good to go. Solid, nothing rattling except the screw that's loose here for mounting, but no rattles, no nothing. That's my necklace doing this. Let's see. Let's see if these batteries will fire up real quick, guys. Hold on. And they might be dead. Yeah, we'll show you on the next one, if not. Let me see. Come on. I don't know. This one does get a little hinky sometimes, but I think the batteries are dead. We'll show you on the next one. So when I was building this Go to War AR, my be-all, end-all AR, right? We talked about it last week. I touched base on some of the components and all. And I may have told you about this, but again, comes the same way. This is 15 years, 20 years later. HWS, and this one was also an HWS holographic. It's called holographic weapon sight. That's what the HWS stands for. This one, however, is a different model. And again, they put the model on here. And this is an XPS2. There's an XPS3, and there's is it an EXPS? Anyhow, this is basically the cheapest version of it. This does not have night vision capabilities. I don't have night vision at the current moment. I did have a single nod, and I didn't like it. The tube wasn't great on it, so I got rid of it. We will be getting some nods here in the near future. And maybe I should have sprung for the extra on it, but for right now, I figured, what the heck, just do this. So it comes the same way. The manuals and all are under here, and it also comes with an Eotech sticker. But here is the new version, the short version. Still got place to put your batteries. However, it does not come with, or it does come with the little Allen wrench. I just have it out of there. So here it is. So we should show you side by side how much smaller it is. And essentially, the sight itself, the sight portion itself is the same size, right? It's the battery compartment that makes the difference. The battery's sticking out the front, and it's substantial. Guys, look at the difference in length, right? So that's a lot of rail space. That's a backup iron or a magnifier or whatever. So just works out. The nice thing with this, you always want to mount a red dot, or in this case, a holograph sight, as far forward as you can get it. There is no eye relief really on a red dot or sight like this. You don't have to have it set a certain distance from your eye. So you can put as far forward as you can. One, it keeps the balance of the rifle centered when it's toward the front. And two, it gives you that greater sight picture. It opens things up. You can see everything much better. And that's why there's this relief cut under here. If you can see, it goes out and then up. So you never want to mount, if let's say this had two mounts, you never want to mount one on your receiver and one on your handguard, where the two come together. You want it all on the receiver or all on the handguard. So you can mount this all the way forward on your receiver, and then depending on your handguards. Now today it's usually not an issue, but back then there could have been the handguard came up a little higher, or the delta ring or whatever, and this gave it enough space to hang out over, so you could put it as far forward as you could. Anyhow, wanted to show you the size difference between the two, and there it is. So substantial difference. Weight wise, let's see, they're close. I know they're very close. The battery compartment doesn't weigh much at all because it's polymer, and that thin strip of base here for the battery is not that much. It's probably as much as is rolled around on this battery compartment here. So let's get into this one. Again, this is the cheapest version they make. I said the other ones get more expensive by as much as a couple $100. If there's night vision, if there's a quick release base, and instead of having the controls back here, if you want them on the side. Now, I learned my lesson with this. I wish I had gotten the other one with the side controls. Reason being, on our go to war weapon, we are running a magnifier with it. And with the magnifier right behind it, it's hard to get to these controls. I could mount it an inch back or so to be able to get in. It looks fine. I looked at the image, but everywhere I've seen it shown by Eotech, it's right on it. And I think it's better. Maybe you'd get some glare if it was further back or something, or the possibility for glare. I can always get to the 4-hour or the left one. I can get my thumb in there and turn it on. But to get to this one to raise, make it brighter, I have to flip the magnifier over to get to it. I wish I had done that. And I also wish I had gotten the quick release. Now, I believe they sell the quick release base separately, so I may be able to add that. But there's another thing, and when we pull out the other one here, I'll show you why I wish I would have got the quick release base. But the other thing is there's no knob on this one. It's just the bolt. So we have to have a star bit to get in there and tighten it up, which is a pain. Same through bolt. So no reason I can't order the knob. Matter of fact, I could probably take the knob off that one and put it on there. So at a minimum, we'll do that. Same adjustment controls, same click value, half inch or half MOA per click. Same 4-hour, 8-hour on, but the batteries are different. So we said they go this way instead of out this way. The nice thing is the cap on here is a screw on. You can use a coin. It's got O-ring seals, and they wired it. They safety wired it with an actual wire, not plastic. Let me see if I tighten this. Yep, I tightened it with a coin. Do I have a coin on me? Let's see if I can get one here. And we'll open her up. So here's a penny. Whatever you got in there. Oh, God. I don't know if a penny's going to do it, guys. Yeah, there we go. We had that sucker tight. It ain't going nowhere, that's for sure. So we just unscrew it. There's your cap. Nice O-ring seal on it. And there's your 1, 2, 3 battery. These are available pretty much everywhere now. Grocery stores, drugstores, hardware stores, no problem getting them. The nice thing is the battery hours have went up. I want to say, and I may be wrong, guys, check the website. I can't remember all these figures on all this stuff, but I do the best I can. But I want to say it's like 60 or 80 hours. Might even be more than that. But it's certainly better than the old ones. And you just pop that battery in, screw the cap on, and you're good to go. So real simple. And I've used my new ones. I have a few of these. My new ones, the batteries last a long time. I don't replace them very often at all. So essentially, other than the battery, the same deal. Same reticle, and we're going to show you the reticle here for once. There we go. This fired up because the battery's good. So we'll see if you can see it from the back here in the camera. Let me see if I can line this sucker up right. Oh, I saw it. Where did it go? There we go. So there's your sight picture. You've got the ring and the dot in the center. And you can also see what look like the little ends of a crosshair coming out the left and right and out the top and bottom. So you can kind of check for, adjust for canting the rifle maybe. I've got it super bright right now, what you're seeing there. So that's why it looks so not sharp, I guess. Plus, we're looking through. I wonder if it does it. Yeah, look, just like it gets bigger the further you go away. If you can see, it's filling up the opening, the screen, whatever you want to call it, a lot more the further you get back from it. So kind of cool. But so that dot, depending on how you sight it in, the dot can be like, let's say you sight it in at 25, and then I think the lower ring If you lined up with the lower edge of the ring, then is 100 yards. And then if you do the dot at 50, then the bottom line is like 200 maybe, or 150. So you can get basically two sightings set up. It's like a BDC almost. The dot, let's say, is 50, and then the bottom of the ring is a longer yardage. I'd have to look in the directions to see which it is. I forget off the top of my head. Anyhow, why do I think these are the best thing going? Some people say, well, red dots are crisper. And to me, it looks like a bunch of dots making up the reticle on this. Yes, it does. If you look at it and you're looking at the reticle and you have the brightness cranked way the heck up, too bright to use, because everyone's first thing is to crank that thing up as bright as you can. I want to see it. Well, that's not how you run it. You want to run it where you're barely seeing it. You always want the ability to go up if you can, especially at night. You set it by the bedside. This thing should be way low. You wake up at 3 a.m, everything's dark. You pop this thing up, and it's so bright it's blinding, like looking at your phone in the middle of the night. But it can look grainy. But you got to remember, the way this is designed, it's a holograph. You're not looking at the reticle. You're looking through it at the target. And when you do that, this isn't grainy anymore. You can also, if you're running a magnifier, you can adjust that somewhat to help with that too. But I don't notice it. I look through it at the target, and it's great. These have been around for at least 2 decades now, probably more. They just work. Look at what guys are running over there. You will see more Eotechs on M4s over in the sandbox than you'll see anything else almost up until, the ACOGs and stuff. But if they're running a dot type sight, yeah, there you go. They've been tested, water, sand. By the way, these things are good down to, I think, 33 feet. Waterproof down to 33 feet. All of them. They don't fog. They're super, super tough. By far, the toughest red dot going out there. It would take a lot to beat one of these up and stop it from running. But the one drawback is, like I'm telling you, I would go to the one that has the controls on the side, and I would go to the quick detach mount, and I probably would spring the extra 100 for the night sight capability, because it's coming. It's getting cheaper and cheaper, better and better. And why not have the capability for it? You never know. You upgrade, what have you. So that's that. I really like it. I like the 512 too. Now that these batteries are common, I would go with this. It also, even though they've kind of fixed the battery issue with those batteries pounding the contacts, this fixes it permanently. There's nothing to worry about there. And just such a great sight. What I did find out is you have to take this for what it is. And let me show you something else, and then we'll get into that, and I'll tell you what I mean by this. Let me check in on the chat here and see what you guys are saying about it real quick. Let's see. All right. I said Dixie Living's in here. She said Merry Christmas, and I started to say it, and I told you about our Christmas tree, and also Merry Christmas to all of you. I hope you have a great Christmas. Spend it with those important to you. Spend it with your family. Spend it with your friends. Spend it with those that care about you and that always have your back. And remember this, guys, gals. If you've got a tiff going on with someone, whether it's a family member, a friend, maybe you got into something over, who knows, politics, anything, even if it's bigger than a tiff. This time of year is the perfect time to get things patched up, work it out, because at the end of the day, you're going to find that none of it is very important for the most part. Even if it is, you can maybe step up, be the bigger person, extend that olive branch, whatever the case may be. Just remember, life is way too short to bother with those little things. And spending time with friends and family and all of that is way more important. If there's one thing I learned this year, that's that you have to take advantage of every minute you can with the people you love. You have to. I've been I've been guilty of that lately. As much as I'm preaching it, I've kind of been guilty of it. I haven't spent as much time with my family, and I came to the realization that part of it is for instance, I'll get home, I'll come in, I'll say hi, and I go right out to the shop and I start tinkering with something, whatever it may be. Maybe I'm reloading, maybe I'm messing with a gun, maybe I'm working on a quad, whatever. But especially the reloading lately, I think because it takes my mind off of what happened, and I don't have to think about that. I can think about the task at hand. Reloading's you have to pay a lot of attention. So if I'm paying attention to that, I'm not paying attention to my thoughts about what happened, and don't have to deal with it. And I think I've been kind of hiding from them in a way. So this year I'm going to make it a lot more family oriented. It's not that I don't want to. I want to. I tell myself I want to. I want to spend time with them. I don't need to reload anymore. My God, I've this since July. I have reloaded. I have blisters on my hands from cranking those things and cleaning. I've cleaned. Yes, I've cleaned and trimmed and done. You have no idea. If you guys would be shocked, you'd be like, Chris, you need to see someone. Need to see someone about that. Um, it's in the tens of thousands, maybe approaching. It's well over 50,000. I know that. This is in a little tumbler and a little ultrasonic and a single stage press. And it's nuts, but that's what I do. All I'm telling you is make sure you maybe make amends with those people and enjoy their company, because you never know when they're gone in a blink of an eye, and you will kick yourself and hate yourself forever. Make sure you do it. It's Christmas time. It's holidays. And at the end of the day, the only people on this planet that care about you is family. The rest, nobody cares. I promise you, nobody cares at the end of the day. I know we'd like to think differently. There's a few. But for the most part, outside your family, guys, that's it. So just make sure you take care of that. For me, do it. Anyhow, let's look at the chat here. Joe says, my dad, his tube change today went well. Back in 3 months, two Karens were harmed. Either must have been at lunch. Oh, he must be talking to someone else. Richard Glover says he loves places like that. I do too. So that little gun shop I was telling you about, the father owned that store, and he owned one in Missouri. And he was kind of retiring down to Missouri, and he gave the store in Illinois to his son to run. Son was a super nice guy, had grown up working in the shop with his dad. He looked like what's his name from Forgotten Weapons, had the long ponytail and everything, looked like him. And he remembered me anytime I'd come in. Hey, take the time to come over, show you stuff. give me deals on stuff, throw stuff in. If he knew I wanted something and could tell maybe I didn't have the money or something, he says, "Here, how about I just put aside? What can you give me today? I don't know, 100. There, hey, bring the rest. It'll be here for you." That kind of guy, just super nice guy. And sad story. He's married to a nice young lady. They have a young daughter. Mom and daughter go out to run some errands, come back, and he is choked to death on a piece of hard candy, dead on the floor, in his late 20s at best, maybe 30, 31, 32. Shocking. I mean, I was shocked. How the heck does that happen, right? Home alone, couldn't do anything about it, died. Uh, Left the wife, the little girl. Wife knows nothing about the business. Can't keep it going. Tried. Even with the employees, they had a lot of longtime employees, but couldn't keep it going. Dad had already made his plans in Missouri. And I think maybe they tried to find a buyer and couldn't. And the next thing I know, they're having a going out of business sale. I think I found out about it actually after the fact, because I was so mad I couldn't be there. And not just for good deals, but just to say how sorry I was to the family and everything, because they were super nice. So short time passes, and my wife was doing some political event down there for a women's Republican organization or something. And it was being held at the parking lot and at the shop there. And it was a grand reopening. They had transferred ownership and the FFL and all to a cousin, I think. And the problem was they had sold everything off and they had nothing to fill the shop, and he didn't have the money or the connections with the distributors yet, or the credit with the distributors to fill the shop up. So they got on Facebook, and all the people that followed this shop for years and years, they donated stuff to the shop. By donated, I mean anything they had laying around, accessory wise and stuff that they didn't need, they either put on consignment or just flat out donated. Holsters, mags, cleaning stuff, optics, you name it, people brought it in. Most of that smaller stuff was donated. Some was new in the package. There was ammunition they donated. I bought 1,000, or well, I don't know if it's 1,000 rounds. I think it is. Big crate of original M1 Garand 30-06 ammo on the bandoliers, in the beautiful crate, military can. Bought 2 of those for dirt cheap. The gun racks were filled with consignment guns, and some people even donated guns. That's how much this little shop was loved. And they did classes there. They even had a range there. Now, the range they had to shut down, unfortunately, because the way it was built and the safety things were different back when it was built. And because the family still owned it, they could run it. But when it transferred to the cousin, it didn't get grandfathered. So he either had to make huge upgrades or close it down. So they closed it down. And it was basically built in what looked like a garage behind the house. But it was like a 25-yard range, maybe shorter. I don't remember. And yeah, you could shoot out there. It was cool. I shot out there. It wasn't too bad or too smoky or anything. Worked just great. And anyways, he reopened. And over the last couple of years, he's built it back now. He's got everything and anything and doing really well. And of course, current situations have helped him, I'm sure, build the business back. So it's been really good to see him back. I don't get there much anymore because I don't live there. But when I go down there to see the kids, I stop in every chance I get. And it might not be as good as it was, but surplus isn't what it was. And those type of firearms aren't what they were. So Talk about good times and good memories. Thank God some of the stuff like the posters and different things on the wall that old mom and pop shops get, the ones that are hazed over yellow from cigarette smoke, and all that. Because you used to be able to smoke in the shop there and everything. There's super cool posters from the 70s and stuff. Uh, all kinds of neat stuff. That was all there. So that was really cool. Um, it looks, again, like the shop has been there for 50 years like it did before. So it's really cool. Anyhow, that's the type of place this was. And it was so unfortunate for that young guy. I felt terrible. But it's great to see it up and going. So, anyhow, that's why we got this Eotech for this GTW AR. And I love running that by far, probably next to the Holosun, which is here. If this has got one drawback, it's the price, right? These are super, super expensive, way more than anything else. Like compared to a Holosun 510C, which is, the reverse. It's not a holographic, the Holosun, but that 510C is maybe $300, and these are at least 600 now. So if there's any drawback, it's the price. But they are made in the USA, which that means a lot. There are, to be completely honest, there are parts made outside the country, but they are assembled here. Fit and finish and quality is all American. You can tell just looking at it. The anodizing is top notch, super thick, super tough. I don't know that I've ever scratched one. That one I've had for 15 years at least. Not a mark on it. It looks brand new. So you get made in the USA, you get super tough, you get always works. They're just great. You can't knock them. But if there was one thing, it'd be price. So let's get to the chat real quick. Then we'll jump in with the last thing on it. Then we'll get on to some AK stuff. Let's see. Our local shops haven't had surplus in years. It's why I was so glad to find the DPMS for 500. Yep. That's exactly why I was so glad to find an unmolested DPMS A2 carbine upper. They gave me a refund. Yeah, they gave you a refund on your 512. Yeah, they did a stand-up job. I mean, just like Richard Gower here says, I'm sure he wholeheartedly agrees that they took care of them. They gave you a refund of your money when that whole deal went down on them, if you wanted, or they would, I forget, either upgrade it or repair it or whatever. I didn't find out about the recall till afterwards, like a couple of years afterwards. So I couldn't go back to them and say, hey, can you do this? It wasn't like I missed it by a month. There was a deadline on the class action and all this stuff. But they did take care of it. That's for sure. Let's see. Squeaky cooler, very informative as always. I don't know if I'm informative. Most people probably know what I know about these Eotechs. They've been around forever. This is no breaking news. But because they are pricey, a lot of people haven't used one personally or maybe not even handled one. May not know a lot about them. So I will tell you this. If you want, it's one of those parts, and it's why I put it on there. It's one of those parts that's the be all end all, always works, toughest there is, no question about it. Lineup, and I am not knocking, and I own way more of these other ones than I do these. Primary arms and Holosun, I have a ton of them. Look at my videos behind me on the desk above there. Look at the boxes. I could open a store. There's so many primary arms and Holosun boxes back there. I kid you not. There's probably 30 or 40 of them. And how much a piece? I mean, it's insane. But I love them, and they work great too, and they're tough, and they last. Things do go wrong. Some are brighter than others. Some, frankly, are too dim. Some of the switches are too hard to turn. Some are too easy to turn. The 510C I love, but there's differences, guys. There are. You can't tell me that they're as tough as this. You'll never prove that to me. So when you're building a be all end all, this is the shit rifle. Guess what? If I want it for CQB, this is what's going on it. It just works. Let's see. Queefer Sutherland. That's hilarious. I love the name. He says, "What's up, brother?" Ah, that's hilarious. That made me laugh. I like things that say Ellie and military only. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, that and $1 will get you on a bus, right? But yeah, I guess it's cool. Uh, Texas, remember the days when the crap was around, kept me from affording a modern gun. Yeah, there's so much. That's good, though. You got your hands on it. Let's see. Texas Bullet. Optic on a carry handle would be the shiz. So, the carry handles were made, that hole in them. That's to mount the original AR optic, right? The scope. I wonder if anybody makes any other optics that'll fit up there. That'd be kind of cool. Uh, Let's see. What else we got here? Joe says, yeah, it's not the same without my tree back there. That tree was up until I think March. Somebody's like, you're going to burn your house down. I'm like, it's fake. We got a real one upstairs. Forgiveness. What wonderful Christmas spirit. Peace on earth, goodwill to all men. You hit it on the head. See, that's why I like Dixie living in here. I get that. I talk to him no more than anybody else on here. But when you get a feeling about somebody and you just see how they post and what they say and how they say it, I get the feeling he's a religious family. Yeah, probably no more or no less than the rest of us, but yeah, that's what it is. Forgiveness. Think about it. Think about it, guys. Most of these little things, nobody did anything anywhere worthy of the silent treatment, so to speak. I hear about friends, fathers and daughters, not talking to each other for a year because of some stupid stuff. Get over it. Get over it already. Be the bigger person. If they don't accept, hey, they don't accept, but at least you tried then. Rush Hour. Good evening, Rock. I haven't got that AK yet, but I will get it soon. Meanwhile, Merry Christmas to you and yours. Same to you, sir. Thank you all, guys, for being here, listening to me ramble. We're going to get to this AK stuff real quick. I just want to see what you guys are saying about these Eotechs here. Joe says, you as well, Dixie. Happy holidays from Save the Bees. Happy holidays to all. Hope you all have a Merry Christmas. Joe answering back. Rock, I'll send you a pic to email of mine. Cool. Awesome. All right. So last part about the Eotech. So this is on my go to war gun, right? So the last piece of the puzzle, right? Here it is. Now, I had been waiting. This is a magnifier, by the way, guys. So like everything, things are hard to get. I've been waiting I wasn't going to do one originally. And then with how bad my eyes have been getting, to even reach out to 100 now, I need something. I just can't. I mean, I guess I can even with irons, but not how I want to, right? Could I shoot Minute of Man? Yes. Can I shoot MOA or even 4 MOA? Nah, probably not. Not with my eyes like it is. Rush Hour in with the super chat. Thank you so much. You have no idea what it means. You have no idea what it costs to run this channel. These are not given to me. And at the end of the day, it's expensive. And let's face it, it's fun to collect. But do we need all these things? No. If I really wanted to pare it down, and I do, I sell things to get more to show you guys. So don't think everything you see on this channel is sitting in a safe somewhere. No, not by a long shot. But that being said, when I got to build something or do something to show you guys, something's got to move, and it gets pricey. And the super chats, the little tiny bit you make on eBay is a joke, but the super chats are a great way to do it. So if you look right down below where you type, there's a dollar figure. You click on there, can give anything from 25 cents to whatever. And we certainly appreciate it. Every dime of it goes back into the channel. I do not rely on any funds from my viewers to support myself. Every bit of it, it gets saved up and put back into the channel, whether it's ammo or an item, what have you. That's how we do it. So you don't hear me talk about it often, but thank you so much. It certainly helps. And I do know things are tight this time of year, and you got obligations with family and children and all of that. And please, they come first. So no hard feelings if you can't help. It's not a problem at all. But it sure is nice when we see it. So thank you, Rush Hour. Thanks so much. He says, what optic can you put on the 8K? Because I don't see where to mount it. What 8K do you have? Usually, or on, I won't say usually, because you'll have one of the 10 variants or so that don't have a rail, but on the left side of the receiver, you will have an optics rail. It looks like a chunk of metal about yay long down the side of the receiver, with all kinds of crazy cuts. And you'll wonder, why the heck is that thing there? What is this crazy chunk of metal, right? Well, that is a side rail mount. So that's the rail that they rivet to the side of the receiver, and then they make scope mounts that on the side of it slide onto that rail, and then from that rail comes up supports that come up to the top with a rail on top of the receiver, and you mount your scope or optic to that. Is how it's normally done 95% of the time. There's other ways to mount it. If you're doing, if you have a aftermarket fore end and gas tube cover that has a Picatinny rail on it, you could mount a red dot up there. They make sight bases that take the place of your rear sight leaf. That can go in there and essentially have little Picatinny rails about the length of your rear sight leaf, maybe a little longer, and you can mount one to there. They make new top covers that are integral. Either the top cover has it mounted to it, or maybe it's integral where it clips into the rear sight base and uses the rear takedown button to mount a rail and or whole top cover system over the top. Replaces the existing dust cover, and you can mount a scope or something. One that comes to mind is the Texas dog leg system. There's a ton of different ways. If you don't have a side rail, there's still a way to do it. You can get AK master mounts that use your trigger and hammer pin to essentially mount a duplicate of those rails to the side, and then you just get a scope rail to slide over and an optic. So there's a lot of ways to do it. So tell us what kind of AK you got here, and we'll kind of tell you. Most of those side rails, by the way, are the same. They'll work with any of the multitude of aftermarket scope rails, except for the Yugo pattern. The Yugo pattern, like a lot of the rest of the gun, is onto itself. So you need a scope rail specifically for the Yugo pattern. What do I use? 9 times out of 10, you will find an RS Regulate on mine. I like them because they mount absolutely fabulously and stick like glue. You're not moving them once they're clamped down. Plus, you can change the upper part of it. So you got the part that slides over the rail, and then there's like a pick rail on that, but it's lower. It's down on the side of the receiver. You can then pick your separate top piece to mount to that then curves up over the top of the receiver and has the pick rail up there. You can change that upper piece. You can do a full pick rail. You can do a shorter one that's oriented more toward the rear of the gun. You can do a shorter pick rail that's mounted toward the front of the gun. You can get them with ACOG mounts. You can get them with micro red dot mounts. They make just about everything for you to mount any brand of red dot that's out there, any type of scope and rings, ACOG, prism. Like most of the prism optics will match the ACOG mounts, on and on and on. So there's always a way to do it. And that I found to be probably the best product out there is the RS Regulate. I do use, I have a couple of them. They're made by Arsenal. Arsenal, the same people that make the Sam 7s and the SLR rifles. They have one that's very nice. It does sit up a hair higher than the RS Regulate. And it's one piece and it's a bit bulkier and it's long, but they work well if you're going to run a full size, like a LPVO, a low power variable optic, like a 1x6 scope or something. They work real well for that. What else do I have? Midwest Industries makes a good one. I did get the Zastava rail. If you have a Yugo, Zastava makes its own branded rail. I believe, I may be wrong, I believe it's made by UTG, which some guys say, well, UTG is, this is not. It's very well done. It works and it's made for the Yugo rifles, and we're using it on our new ZPAP. It's working out great. Got a red dot on it and been testing it. Haven't brought you a video on it yet, but I should do one here for you. Maybe I'll try and get that out this week. It's working very well. I also have an RS Regulate, and the Yugo pattern works great on there. There's a multitude of other ones out there that work. UTG, like I said, has one, and a whole bunch of stuff. So you can find them out there, but those are the big ones and the ones I like to use. So thank you very much for the super chat. If you tell me what you got here, I'll answer further. They have a rail you can put. Joe says, okay. What's up, guys? I'm late as usual. Chad O'Call, you're not late. No problem. Never had AK with Mount Rush, but I have seen them and they're around. Rush Hour. Thanks, Rock. Well spoken. I'm learning. You didn't say what type of AK you have, though. What brand or from what country or what is it? And I'll be able to tell you a little more. All right. So I was telling you about the last part of the Eotech, and then we're going to get to the AK stuff. So hang in. I needed a magnifier. It was either I'm going to go to an LPVO, low power variable optic scope, 1x6, 1x8, 1x4. Like on the most recent videos on the X39 project on the Krebs rifle, I'm using 1x6 primary arms. Great scope. However, scopes are heavy. They require the longer rail, which is heavier than, let's say, the smaller RS Regulates. It adds a lot of weight to that gun. And so does the Eotech and a Magnifier. They are not light. But the Magnifiers come in, well, most of the time, all you used to be able to find was 3 power. Eotech came out with a 5 power, but I hadn't seen them for a while, supply shortages. I was waiting to get one, and I walked in one day, and there they were, and it was the G33, which is their 3 power, and I grabbed it, bought it, brought it home, put it on the rifle, tested it out. It was okay. It's like having, the 3 power prism. It would get me out there, but I knew that for sure the 3 power would be more useful for target identification and not so useful for tight groups, let's say. And I wanted it to be a little better than that. So I had read that they came out with the 5 power, but it wasn't around. And they literally said in the article, you're just not going to find one. They're out there, but they're making them. in such huge demand that they're just not out there. They're filling, contracts and different stuff, and good luck finding one. So I had just found that 3-power. I found it. Don't you know, the next day I go with a friend to this super nice shop, and I look and they have the 5-power. The next day I had just got the 3-power. And I thought, man, are they going to take back this 3-power? Will they take back optics? Because some places don't. Now, I had done nothing. I didn't really assemble anything. I had kind of set it on there, looked at it, lined it up. Yeah, okay, that'll work good. I'll get it put together and mount it when we get to the range and sight it in and all that, and we'll be good. So I thought, what's the odds it's here? If anything, I could probably get rid of it super easy to anybody looking. And so I grabbed it. Now, these things are like in the $600 range for the Magnifier, $600 for this, for the main holographic sight. So you got $1,200-$1,300 wrapped up in this. I could buy a hell of a lot of scope for that. Like the new Vortex Razor 1x8. That thing is marvelous, right? It's a lot of money. I get it, guys. It's more than a top-notch AR, right? But I was building this to be that rifle that just will last forever. Nothing can hurt it. It'll always run. And so I grabbed it. Now, not only do I got $1,200 wrapped up, but I got an extra magnifier. I got like over $1,800 with tax, probably over $2,000 wrapped up in 2 magnifiers and a scope. I'm going to return the one. So, but I'm not sure if they will, but I know I'm not going to find another one of these. Worst case, I could sell it to someone, whatever. So I get the 5-power, and I pay for it. The guy hands it to me, puts it in a bag with the receipt. I take it home. I pull it out of the bag. I'm looking. Yeah, G45, all good to go. That says it's the 5-power. By the way, there's the price on this. Not cheap, right? So I get home. I go in the shop, and I pop it open. And I'll show you what it looks like. This is a good story. Again, all the manuals and the foam. And the only thing you're going to see that isn't how it came is this has the quick detach. And when it comes, that's in here. So there's 2 screws you have to put on to mount the quick detach to the magnifier itself. Plus you get 2 sets of screws here, long and short, because there's also a riser that comes with it. So you can raise it up a little bit depending how you want your co-witness to be. Maybe also depending on whether you're running the quick detach on your prism scope as well. So you can put that in there. I'm running it without it. So I'm in the shop and I pull it out, and let me tell you something. These, you talk about a quality unit. I mean, my God, this thing is a tank. So I put it up and I'm looking through it. And now you have eye relief on this, right? Unlike the prism scope or prism Eotech, which has no eye relief. You can run it anywhere, out, near, wherever. This has eye relief, and it's generous. Let me see. It's hard when it's not on a rifle. So right about there is my eye relief. So I'm looking through it, and I'm looking across the garage and everything and checking it out. I go outside the shop, and I'm standing over by the garage, and I'm looking out back, and I'm like, that doesn't seem that great. I don't know. And so I go grab the 3-power, and I'm doing this. I got the 3 and I got the 5, and I'm going between them, right? And at first I can't tell. They look like they're so close, And I'm looking, and then I adjust the diopter so they're both the same, and I'm looking, and then I'm looking at a unit, something out in the field that takes up the entire width of what I can see across it, and I slide to the other one, and it's much less in my field of view, and it's then that I go, this ain't a 5-power. this is not a 5 power. Either somebody got something wrong or they tried to rip me off or something, right? But I'm like, I just know it's not. But the box says it is. I look at this and you look everywhere on it, everywhere. There is no model number. There is no markings for power. There's nothing. The only thing on this thing, and let me grab my glasses so I can show you. And this, I think, is a fault of Eotech. There is nothing on here except the patent number, some random number, which that's on the base. But on the scope itself, or the magnifier itself, there's nothing but one number. And I'm looking at it, and it said G35 something or other, and then that code you can scan. And of course, it says Eotech. So I'm looking at it, and I just can't figure it out. So what the heck? I opened the manual, and I had glasses on my head, and I'm looking for glasses. I do this all the time. Part of getting old, guys. So I get Eotech on the phone, and I said, can you do me a favor? I told him what I did. I said, I bought a 3 power the other day. Then I run into the 5 power. He goes, you got a 5 power? Like the guy at the factory surprised. I'm like, yep, I got one. He's like, wow, lucky. And I said, yeah, I know. I said, but here's my problem. Now I got both of them. And I'm looking through them, and the box says it's a 45, which is the 5 power, but I don't think it's a 5 power. I said the guy had a used one in the case for sale, the Eotech and the Eotech Magnifier, and that I know was a 3 power, and that was for sale. I said I think he put the wrong one, or the wrong one in the right box. He says, I said, but there's nothing on here to tell me what the heck it is. The only thing I could tell was in the books, which thank God I save everything. That thing's 20 years old. I still had the books in there. The 3 power weighs 10.5 ounces, and the 5 power weighs 12.5 ounces, 2 ounces more. So I weighed them on a little kitchen scale we had, and then I didn't know, well, are they talking with or without the base, And there wasn't quite a 2 ounce difference. It was more like a half ounce difference or something. It wasn't that big a deal, or the scale was off. I couldn't tell. Anyways, he says, read me that serial number down there. So I read it to him. He goes, that's a 3 power. What's your other one? I read it to him. He goes, that's a 3 power too. They started with G35. It's the model was G33 for the 3 power, G45 for the 5 power. So I go, you gotta be kidding me. He put the wrong one in there. So now I'm worried. Oh my God, they're gonna think, and I had told the guy I had a 3 power. He's gonna think maybe I switched I'm pulling a fast one on him somehow. Anyhow, I called up there, and thank God I went there with a friend who his nephew manages it. So I figured he's going to know I'm not giving him a line. But I called them, got a hold of them, and they said, no problem. Come on back down. We'll take care of it for you. He checked and he said, yep, I gave you the wrong one. The problem was it's a 45-minute ride. Now I got to go an hour and a half round trip back. Unbelievable. So I got it. And what a difference between this and the 3 power. It is heavier for sure, the 2 ounces. It's also beefier. Now they make a new model that they've shortened up, but I think that only comes in a 3 power. They've shortened it up a bit, but the funny thing is it's no lighter. It's just chunkier. But this is so well built. It's that solid aluminum housing. It's all rubber around here. And the rubber isn't so much to protect it as it is to grab and flip it out of the way with this flip sight. So when it's mounted on the gun, if you want to just use the Eotech, you just flip it out of the way like that. And this mount is built like a brick, what house too. Massive, solid. The hinge is when this isn't mounted to it, you almost can't move the hinge with your fingers. The adjustments are kind of unique. These adjustments do not change the focus or the where your bullet's going to hit. These only change where the reticle appears in this magnifier. So it'll move the reticle right to left or up or down so you can center it in the reticle or in the magnifier. So you can use it with other scopes and or other red dots other than Eotech because you can adjust it. You can bring this up and down too to match. The quick release is real nice. You have to push this in up here and then flip it open and it comes off. It locks up super, super tight. Not going anywhere, locks in. The diopter, normally a diopter on a scope adjusts how clear the reticle is, right? You can make it super fine so you can read every little number on like a ACSS reticle or something. And on this, it does the same thing. It really makes that ring and dot super clear. And you know when it's adjusted, put it that way, because like I said, it'll get grainier. Some people complain about the grain. Well, magnify it and it'll get grainier, right? This makes it really nice and crisp. The great thing about this glass is a lot of glasses will give a yellow tint or a blue tint or a green tint, and they just don't look, they look like when you're shooting two eyes, here's the real world, and this is some other world. This is Earth, this is Mars, right? And it just throws you off. This glass is crystal clear, and I mean crystal. It's just super nice. Plenty of light transmission, everything. Eye relief is generous, and the eye box is fairly easy too. I can be a little off and still see. But all in all, we took it to the range Sunday. My cousin actually came out from Iowa, and he got bit by the gun bug really bad. He's having a blast, though, an absolute blast. He's been building and accessorizing his AR, and so he was there helping me with some videos. And I'll tell you what, guys, I think I was having a bad day because I'm going to tell you about the X39 project and what went wrong. But I'm sighting in this AR. I get it sighted. I'm on paper. I'm close, and it's one or two clicks, and I'm there. And I adjust one or two clicks. I'm an inch high. I adjust two clicks down, shoot again, 3 rounds, and now I'm not where I should be. I'm 2 inches low, 3 inches right. Well, how the hell did that happen? I shoot again. I make the adjustments. I shoot again. Now I'm 4 inches high, 2 inches here. I was all around. I could not get it sighted in. I thought something's got to be loose, right? I check everything. It's tighter than an ant's ass. Everything's good. Um, I finally got some decent groups out of it. This is at 100 yards, but I wasn't happy. I'm like, they got to be tighter. And why is this moving around like this? So I finally got it kind of stable, and but not where I wanted. Certainly not the groups I wanted, especially now with the 5-power. Now I'm not just target identification. I should be pretty good at 100 with 5-power, right? And they're okay, but they're 2-inch groups, 3-inch groups. And I'm like, this thing should be putting 1-inch groups down there at 100. No problem. The rifle's right. I built the rifle, all good parts, great ammo. I'm running my reloads, 55 grain, and I just can't get it right. I moved to 75 grain, which I love, my reloads, and it shot much better. Still not how I wanted, but much, much better. And then it kind of dawned on me. I've been shooting, especially for this X39 project, higher magnification, um, accurate guns. I've been shooting my AR, my designated marksman rifle, with a really nice 10-power gold edition primary arm scope, like $1,000 scope, and I'm shooting sub MOA groups, and this is an Eotech is what it is, right? It's a CQB battle sight, right? It's for up close. It's the fastest there is out there. Nothing's faster than, that big ring and dot. And that's what it's made for. This is to take that level of dot and give you what I said before, target identification and maybe acquisition, and help you get on target a little better. It's certainly minute of man, but I don't think I can expect, nor should I expect, the precision out of a red dot essentially. And I'm only calling it a red dot because I don't want to, everyone knows it as a red dot. I don't want to keep saying holographic. But I'm expecting a red dot to do a precision job. And that's just not the case, right? First of all, the dot is more than one MOA, I think. Um, Nice thing is people think that this magnifies the reticle. It doesn't. And it, it does, but it's also magnifying everything else along with it, not just the reticle. So essentially, it stays in the same range. So you're not making that red dot bigger in context of your target. But I just think I was expecting too much out of this. It certainly would put them in a 2, 3, 4-inch group, no problem, no problem. And that's kind of what this is meant for. It's, I guess if you want that, go to an LPVO. So here's the difference between, and there's this standing argument between, should I run an LPVO, a low powered variable optic like a 1x6, or should I run red dot with a magnifier? Well, here's how you decide. First, you decide what is the primary use of this rifle going to be. Is it going to be CQB? Is it going to be close CQB in close range? Is it going to be a mid-range gun, or is it going to be a long-distance gun? This is a go-to-war gun, primarily an up-close CQB gun, maybe reaching out to mid-range. By mid-range, I mean probably no more than 200 yards. So what's going to excel at that? Well, the Eotech is certainly built and made to excel at close quarter ranges, right? That's what it's made for. There is nothing better than a dot up close and personal. So if that's what we're building the gun for, this is what we want. Now you're going to throw in close to medium ranges. We add this. So this is by far the best at the close range. This adds a little bit to it, gives you better target identification, helps you reach out, or my old eyes or whatever. And it's very, very good at, let's say, 100 to 200 with this. Now, if you were building a mid-range to long-distance gun, by all means, but you still want to use it in a CQB fashion sometimes, then by all means buy the LPVO, because it excels at the other end, the high power end, especially a first focal plane. It excels at that, at the distance. At 1 power, it does the job, but not quite as good as this, because with the scope tube, now you have eye relief even at 1 power. That you have to have that thing at the right range from your eye for it to work even at 1 power. So it's not quite as fast. Maybe you have to move to adjust. You have to get your eye box right. All those things can slow you down a little bit. And then just looking through that tube, even 2 eyes, it's different. It's just different. And you don't have that full field of vision like you do running this further forward and being able to see the whole picture. So if you want to excel at close quarters, maybe reaching out a bit, this is the way to go. If you want to build a rifle for extended mid-range to long range, by far, the LPVO is going to do its best work at the upper powers and at distance. but it's going to still work well down low, just not quite as good as this. So you got to decide what you want to do. That is what this long-standing argument's over. And guys will argue for hours, and you're full of shit. And you don't know this, and you don't know that, and the LPVO is better. The LPVO is great. It's awesome. I run it on my 3-gun rifle. I run it on my Krebs rifle. I run it on a ton of them. I run it on my AR-10. But when I want one gun, I'm going to grab, let's face it, most fighting I would ever do would be up close to maybe 200 yards, right? I assume would hold true for most people in this country, except maybe out west or plains or something like that. But this certainly gives me the best up close and very good out to mid ranges. And it's always going to work. And like here, you don't like the magnifier, it's too heavy, it does this, it does that. Flip the lever, take it off, put it in your pack, your pocket, whatever, and you're here. So now you don't got to worry about the weight either. Now you just cut half the weight off. This definitely weighs more than this by an ounce or so. And it's still more compact than an LPVO because it sits on the rifle like this. So essentially, there, my smallest low power variable optic is at least 2, probably 3 inches longer than this, and probably more than that, maybe 4 or 5. Certainly at least 2 inches longer than this, at least at a minimum. And I can get rid of this if I want. I can flip it to the side. I can use both. It's in back into action, out of action quick. It's reliable. It's tough as nails. Most of all, it's fully battle proven. These things have been used for decades in real combat. So that's why I went with it. There is the Eotech story that only took 2 hours to tell you. Holy Christ. All right, we're done with that. Real quick, Kalashnikov collectibles. So I told you guys my father-in-law had given me a box of knives, right? And I'm going through it, and what attracts my attention but the big red star, right? Well, most of us, right? What do you think? A red star, Commie Russia, right? I pull it out and I'm looking at it, and obviously the writing is probably Russian or something. Baltic state, whatever the case may be. I can't read it. I don't know what it is. So I look a little closer. I break out my glasses and I look at the other side right here, and there's a person's face there. And then it says authorized by and the gentleman's name. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but look at the face. Can you see the face? I don't know if you can tell from it who it is. When I'm sitting here looking at it, I can tell what it is. I did right away. And then I read the words on it. And it says authorized by Mikhail Kalashnikov. What does this word say? I have no idea what that means. Kalinkabab? I don't know. What is it? Kawawa Cob? I don't know. Kararabab? What does that say, guys? Anybody know what it says, let alone what it means? So that's Mikhail Kalashnikov and the star. And the other side is the same thing. And then on the blade, it says, and here we go again. It looks like MR and then a name. I don't know. Maybe it's Kalashnikov. I don't think so. I'll show it to you here. Maybe you guys can make it out, or someone that speaks the language or writes the language. Let's see if I can get it to focus on there for you so you can see it. I don't know. That's the best I can do, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm trying to get it to focus better or something. Let's see. Can you guys see? It's not focusing very well, is it? Maybe it takes a second to focus. I don't know. Anyways, that's Mr. Kalashnikov himself. What does that mean? At first, I thought it was when I said last week I had this, I thought it was Kalinka, like the scope or whatever, but I have no idea what that means. What does that mean? And I just happened to find it in a box of cheap junk knives my father-in-law had gotten at a knife show and was getting rid of. And frankly, I was cleaning it out too, and I was going to get rid of the junk ones. And at first, I'm like, "Ugh, this red ugly thing. I'm going to toss this one or give it to somebody or whatever." And then I happen to look at the picture, and I'm like, "I know that face." And then I look at it, and sure enough, Kalashnikov. Amazing. So let's see if anybody knows what the hell it is. Ba, 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 ba. Yugoslavia had a red star too. It's his name in Cyrillic or Cyrillic. I don't know how to pronounce that either. No, that's Russian for Kalashnikov, is it? Google Translate app will translate for you. I'll have to try. So I don't know if that's Kalashnikov or what. Maybe it is. It could. I could see how that could be. But how in the hell did my father-in-law end up with a Kalashnikov knife, and then it ends up in my hands, and I don't even know I have it because I never looked close enough. Well, that's kind of cool, isn't it? Neat. I don't know what kind of knife it is, where it's made. I don't know if it's a gas station quality knife, like a truck stop quality knife, or what, but it certainly seems high quality. It is not cheap. The blade is well ground, well polished, well finished. The edge is super sharp and nice, well done. The handle, bolsters, everything is heavy. It almost looks like my We the People gun, where they finish it, they nitride finish it, and then they tumble it to get that look. It's solid steel. The lock is super tight. It unlocks well. It probably weighs, I'll bet, close to half a pound or more. I don't know. Locks in nice, if you can hear that. Super nice. And I mean, it's not junk. It's not junk. It's a pretty nice knife. I don't know who made it, if it came from Russia, if it came from China, if it came somewhere, but authorized by Kalashnikov. And the only words in English on here are authorized by. So I don't know. Anyhow, thought that was kind of cool. So, what is next? We said we'd talk about the greatest, best battle proven optics in the world, or one of them at least. We did. What do you guys think of that optic and the 5 power and the magnifier and all? Any of you guys running it? Do you like them? Would you rather go with a low power variable or a prism or a plain old red dot or just a regular old scope? What do you like? So I said I'd talk about the Buy 39 project, and then we talk about the latest addition to our little 8K family here. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to finish telling you about the Buy 39 project and what happened. So I told you sighting in that rifle on Sunday was a pain. I just didn't feel right. A lot of it was my shooting that day for whatever reason. Um, I caught myself staring at the target too much, blurring out, having to close my eyes, my eyes watering. It was cold. Um, I hadn't eaten anything before we went. We didn't get out there till 11. I had eaten nothing but drank coffee, and we were out there till dark with nothing to eat. Could have been that. You know, when you go out shooting, it's a lot like any sport. You need to have some energy in you to help you do well, your vision, everything. You don't want to have your blood sugars drop, maybe get shaky, whatever the case may be. It's like anything else. So I'm having a bad day there. I never, sighting in a red dot is the easiest thing on the planet, right? There is no reason that should have caused me problems. Anyhow, with the crappiest ammo. So we're gonna do the by 39 testing. If you guys saw the last video I put out, it was us testing commercial ammo, Wolf, Tula, and Golden. So now I loaded up some test subjects, and I had told you guys in other live streams and in the video what we were going to be testing for our reloaded ammo that we're trying to get more accurate. And the first ones were these Sierra 150 grain. They're actually a 303 British bullet. They're 311 is the diameter. That's the diameter of an AK bullet. The length of them works with the limited capacity of the 7.62 by 39 case. So it's going to work. They're beautiful bullets. They're soft points, which I thought, I wonder how they'll feed. But they loaded up beautifully. With the powders I had, there was no information on the one powder for that load. I searched and searched, couldn't find it in any book. I went to some forums. Got to be careful there, right? Now, guys, don't ever take advice on reloading from a forum. Okay, just don't. It's especially if you're new to it, not sure what you're doing. Don't do it. If you know what you're doing, you can kind of deduce using your knowledge what a certain powder does, what else it's used in, and do it so it's not dangerous. But it can get real dangerous real fast. In this case, it wouldn't, but I'm just going to say don't do it. Okay. I was consulting with Fred Pickering Custom Firearms and Ammunition as well during it. And when I loaded it that night, I didn't have him to talk to, but I put the information in my head. Essentially, the powder I used was a powder that is used for reloading 30-06 M1 Grand ammo. It can be used in a few other things. If anything, it's probably a little slower burning than what I needed for this. But I went off the grains of what I thought it should be, backed it down even a couple to be safe, loaded that up. Then I loaded the same ammo, same bullets with BLC2 powder, which is there's recipes out there for the AK ammo. So I know this stuff's going to be real good. And I did it all for ladder testing. I did 5 rounds of each, and I went up a half a grain every time till we covered the whole range from starting load to max load. And we started shooting. And I shoot the first one, and it goes off fine. Felt super light. We had been shooting ARs all morning, so of course it was loud enough and all of that. But my cousin who's there says, "Man, that thing didn't eject too well." And I thought, he doesn't really know AKs that much. Whatever. So I keep shooting, and I can't see. I'm using that 6 power, and I can't see the bullet holes in the target at 100 with that 6 power. So I'm just shooting. I shoot one target with each, right? And I'm excited to go down there and look. And we walk down there, and I look at the target, and I'm looking. I'm like, how can this be? There's not a bullet on target. Not one. Not one out of 25 bullets, 5 different powder loads, all the way to the top. Not one bullet on target on a Krebs rifle with a 1x6 primary arm scope, an experienced shooter behind it, taking my time on camera, and not a bullet on it. I was like beside myself. I'm like, what in the heck just happened? So at closer inspection, my cousin says, "Hey, those holes there off paper but on the target backer, those weren't there before." I go, "I think they were." He goes, "No, I don't think so." And for whatever reason, these rounds, we had punched 223 holes in them. You can tell the difference between a 22 round going through a target and a 30 caliber round going through, right? Just bigger holes, easy to tell. Well, for whatever reason, these Sierra bullets with the soft tips, I'm always shooting FMJ, right? They made smaller holes. They just did. I don't know if the lead slid different through the paper, whatever, and the plastic backer. I don't know, but some were bigger, some were smaller. It was weird. So I just wasn't sure. So I said, well, that was an utter failure. Now, I didn't really have a load. I came up with a load based on forum information and other stuff, but here, I basically loaded it to max case capacity. It wasn't a compressed load yet, but if I had went up another half a grain, it would have been. So I know I'm at max case capacity pretty much. This has got to be, I'm up there, right? Well, guess what the chrono was reading the whole time? It started out at like 1,400 feet per second, and it went up about 50 to 100 feet per second with every half grain. And it topped out at maybe 1,600, something like that, which any commercial AK ammo is 2,180 to 2,250 maybe feet per second. So it's way off on the power. I'm like, why? So I know what happened, but I'm still incredulous at the whole thing. I'm like, it can't be that far off, where it's completely off. So I said, let's go back. We'll shoot the BLC2. I shoot that. Now, this is out of the book, out of the Hornady manual, or I'm sorry, off the Hodgdon website for that powder, 7.62 by 39, starting load, max load. I load every half half grain, I guess. Yeah, well, geez, I'm losing it. I ladder it all the way up to the hottest load. I shoot that. I think I could see the one hitting. We go out and look. Same thing. Nothing on target, except I did see in this case they had moved down. So, but even that didn't make sense the way it was sitting, and nothing made sense. Now the feet per second on that did go up to about 1,750, maybe 1,800, but it started out at like 1,600 feet per second or something. And this should have been well into at minimum 2,100 feet per second, according to the book. Even with the shorter barrel, it should have been over 2,000 feet per second. Easy. Came nowhere close to that. Here's what happened. Number one, well, partially what happened. Number one, these are 150 grain bullets. What do we shoot out of the AKs? Forever and ever, steel case, 122, 123, 124 grain. I'm shooting 150 grain. Now, the power loads should have been there, but I should have built some extras and at least sighted in roughly for these 150 grain bullets. I didn't do that. So obviously they're going to hit lower, probably much lower. I didn't think they'd be that much, but it didn't dawn on me when I was doing this for whatever reason. Just didn't cross my mind. And then I still can't get over the low feet per second. Something was off. So last night I look at the gun. I open it up. I'm going to clip. It is filled, and I mean filled inside, with yellow goop. Goop. It looks like someone melted tiny little bits. At first, it looked like yellow sprinkles that you might put on a cookie, right, or something. At closer look and under magnification, it looks like melted yellow wax everywhere. And I mean, the chamber is smeared with it. It's in the barrel. Looks like someone sprinkled sand in it. It's not sand. It's yellow waxy. The whole bottom of the barrel is covered in it. The whole inside of the receiver, the trunnions, the bolt, the carrier, all the way back to the fire control group is peppered with this stuff everywhere. Like someone dumped a pepper shaker of it in there. I take pictures with my phone. I magnify it up super high, and I can see some of them that are less melted are like little tubes, like tiny. They look like tiny mac and cheese is what it looked like in there. Okay. Well, extruded powder is just that. It's extruded tubes, right? They just cut them off so they're tiny. They're like that long, right? Each grain of powder. So the yellow is when it burns. Normally it doesn't turn this yellow. It turns like a brownish, mazy colored. This was a brighter yellow. Um, but it was definitely burnt, or certainly not burnt too well powder. And then the round little specks that look like perfect drops melted were, I got to assume, the BLC2, because that's a ball powder that's more like little smashed discs. Like if you took a round ball of chocolate and smashed it, it's a little disc, right? About that thin. Under magnification, that's what it looks like. And they were just as yellow. So either I was getting a burn because there was a, ignition, primer went off, big boom, bullet traveled down there, just super low speeds. But why this powder everywhere through the gun? Chamber. And in the chamber, you can see where it melted and each round smearing it in there. And I just got a feeling it was leaving tons of unburnt powder in the barrel. And as it ejected, it wasn't burnt, but it's hot enough to kind of burn and melt. And as it ejects, it's dumping the unburnt in there. And I kept firing and going, and the whole thing ends up with it. We were not getting anywhere near the burn we should have gotten. Now, was that because primers were bad, not enough ignition? Was the powder bad? I can't see two brands being bad, two separate bottles. One was mine, one was sent to me, brand new, sealed. I don't know what caused it to burn so poorly, create those super low uh, feet per second. I mean, okay, maybe I was off on the recipe on the one, but on the BLC2, I was following the manual exactly, all the way up to full caseload again. I couldn't get any more in there. So it had to be, I know I didn't look at the top speed with the top load, but I know it's at least 2,000, maybe 2,100. I don't know where 1,500, 1,600, 1,700 feet per second come in that huge drop. So here's what I'm telling you. Bottom line is that entire loading, all those bullets, all the prep and brass, the entire day at the range to bring you video was a complete waste of time because I screwed up. I didn't account for the drop of what that 150 grain bullet was going to do regardless of the load. Although I think had it been running at 2,100 feet per second or 2,200 feet or even 2,000 feet per second, it would have been on paper and close. Here it was at least a foot low or more. Many were not even on paper. They were way off paper. So me not putting two to two together, whether that's I was loading late at night, tired from working, whatever the case may be, I didn't account for that. So I wasted that whole day. And so there's no video this week on the Buy 39 project. Now, Fred, on the other hand, from Fred Pickering Custom Firearms and Ammunition in Michigan, who has really gotten hot and heavy and having a ball with this project and going at it. He got a wasser, so he's testing a wasser. He's ordered bullets and powder from all over, and he's a very accomplished long distance shooter and builds magnificent precision rifles. He's so into this right now. He's got stocks coming for the wasser, so because he's used to shooting precision rifles. He's like, Chris, I got to tell you, that stock, that's just a piece of shit. He goes, it's so small. He goes, I can't get a weld. He goes, he's precision rifles. He was hilarious telling me this. So he ordered a stock with a cheek riser and a mount, and he's running a really nice scope. And I think he got muzzle brakes and all kinds of stuff he ordered for it. So he's way into this, all kinds of cool bullets and powder. And then he specializes in casting his own bullets. And a lot of guys say, there's no way you can run these cast bullets, especially he's talking about getting 24, 25, and 2,600 feet per second out of these AK rounds, 7.62 by 39. Guys, you don't get anywhere close to that with commercial ammo. Imagine 24, 2,500, 2,500 easy 2,500 feet per second out of cast bullets. And you guys will say, he's full of it. You're gonna lead your barrel up like crazy, and they're not gonna do anything, and da 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 da. You're gonna hear all kinds of craziness. As these videos start to come out and this starts to spread, you're gonna see people jump into these live streams in the next few weeks or month or whatever, claiming all kinds of that we're full of it. We don't know what we're talking about. And then there's no way. Well, I'm here to tell you there is a way, because as bad as my day was, Fred's was that good the other way. Incredible. So first of all, these cast bullets are his. Guys, the key to cast is the hardness. It's what you mix with the lead. It's the antimony or antimony, whatever, however you pronounce it, and the tin. And it's measured in Burnell hardness. Some of these bullets are 15 Burnell, others are 18, and that makes a huge difference. First off. Second of all is the coating on these bullets. Now, guys will say, well, coated bullets, powder coated bullets, that's just going to burn off. It ain't going to do nothing at that kind of speed. Anything over, pistol bullet like 900,000 feet per second, 1,100 feet per second. Powder coat's no good over that. It's just going to burn off. You're going to lead your barrel, and that'll be that. And they're going to be horrible, and on and on. We're not powder coating them. Fred does a polymer coating, completely different. The temps hold up, and for sure, he guarantees me, he has personal firsthand knowledge. He's done it 2,400 feet per second, and the coating's intact. The barrel's not leading, nothing. These bullets have gas seals, the wax ring, the polymer coated. We are running them with these loads Fred's come up with. Now, he was shooting it out of a Wasser, right, guys? Famous entry level when it comes to AKs. But solid rifle nonetheless, great barrels, all of that. But not necessarily known for being the most accurate rifle on the block. He had sub-MOA groups with this stuff. Impressive. First round out of the box, not even, he did some ladder testing, but not complete. It was like first shot at it, and he had other people, shooters and members of his club around watching it, and people were impressed. And I got the pictures. I don't know if he got any video, but if he didn't, we are certainly going to get some, and we're going to bring it to you. And that's just starting. That was first shot over the bow. Mine failed completely. His was magnificent, but that's why we're both doing it. And there's more. 1 week is not going to set us back or throw us off. That was just a stupid mistake on my part. I got caught speeding. That's what that was. So we're going to go back at it after Christmas here. Not going to do anything this week because of Christmas, but you got that to look forward to. Maybe I'll post some pictures to my Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Maybe I'll do a short video showing them. But impressive. He was really happy. He's sending me these texts. I'm driving, trying to read them, and I think I was shooting during part of it, and I was so disgusted. I wanted to talk to him about it, about what I had done, and just a big waste. I do think that part of it is the powder that I ended up with. I think we had some miscommunication on. We had one thing on the brain, because this started out me just getting powder from him for other loads. I needed some Varget, and I needed something for my M1 Grand loads. And I think we crossed wires somewhere, brain fart on my part, on his part, whatever. But we're getting it right. He's got even more bullets coming. This thing is getting deeper and deeper. We're going further down a rabbit hole, and you guys are going to have some incredible stuff to load up and shoot when we are done. for pennies, and certainly probably less than what's going on right now in the market. So look forward to that. I'm sorry. I should probably send you the video. I got video of it. Hey, I show you the good, the perfect, the great, right? Although I do try to do it unedited and go right through on a lot of stuff so you see everything. Like if I'm working on something, I drop something, whatever, I keep it in there. I don't bother with it. I show it to you, like a lot of channels won't. But I suppose I should show you the bad with the good. At a minimum, you guys will get a huge laugh out of it just by the look on my face, like, like what the, I couldn't get it through my head that 25 bullets are not a bullet on paper. What the Ray Charles shooting, or what's going on here? Maybe Stevie Wonder. I don't know. Anyhow, we'll talk about this. Then we're going to talk about the new AK edition here. I promise you in the next 10 minutes here. So at the same time, my cousin has gotten bit by the firearm bug. He is so into shooting, and he's been building this AR, and we hadn't talked for a lot of years, just he's busy with his business. I'm busy with mine. He lives in Iowa. I live in Wisconsin, and on and on and on. And he happened to, we got in touch with each other and hung out a couple times this summer, partially because of my son's passing. He came to see me, and then the rest was history. He was telling me how he's into guns and he's watching my channel, and what do I get for an AR? I want to do this and I want to do that, and what's right, and how should I do it, and what should I get, and what about this part and that part? And he got bitten bad by the bug, right? So he's building this AR, and I told him, here's what you want to do. First rifle, decide what you want it to do. And then we had talked about him building an arrow, but he kind of wanted to buy his first one, get a little under his belt, and then build one. So we bought a SIG 400, but the Predator model. They list it as a hunting rifle. It's got a rifle length stock, but more like a precision gun stock. You can adjust it. 16-inch barrel. It's this weird green seafoam color, kind of cool. Nice handguard, everything finished really well. Just had a muzzle nut on it. We went shooting a few weeks ago. He was complaining about the muzzle jumping and stuff, and he had put $150 SIG Optic on it, a 3x9 variable hunting scope, essentially. He did okay. And then he called me Saturday, says, hey, I got a muzzle brake I want to put on, and I can't get it on. Can you help me? And I said, yeah, we're going shooting tomorrow. Show up. So I got his muzzle brake on. I did something else. I can't remember. Anyhow, goes to the range. He's shooting some military contract ammo. It's doing well, right? He's probably 2 MOA, something like that, over and over, having a blast. The gun ain't moving. It's running perfect. $150 scope. $150. This was part of the other thing that kind of burned me. Here I am, and I know this is not for precision work, but here I am with $1,200 sitting on top of that gun. He's got $150 worth of glass on his. I give him some of my 75 grain bullets I loaded, and he goes, pop, 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 pop. We walk down there, and he's got a 1/2-inch group. It just incredible. I went, my God, $150 scope. So it just goes to show you, even though I'm talking about a go-to-war gun and expensive stuff and lasting and can't hurt it and all this, does not mean you can't get into it, have just as much fun with whatever you got. That was a $150 scope. It doesn't get cheaper than that, guys. Does not get cheaper than that. We put the muzzle brake on it, all that good stuff. He's loving the rifle. He's gaining a ton of knowledge. He's more excited than ever. He's in the process of building a very similar one to mine. He's doing a Thunder Ranch because he likes it. And he's going to build this. He's getting all the parts together. We're going to build it. We're going to have a blast doing it. And yeah, just super cool. So do what you can. Have fun out there. And just get out and do it. That's the key. Got to get out there. Can't have fun without it. Check the chat. Then we're going to tell you what we added to the family here. So we talked about the knife. So Joe says, why I went irons only on my rifle was reliability and hard use in case of an emergency. I'll tell you this, Joe, irons are as simple as it gets, right? They always work, all of that good stuff. But you can lose a sight pin. You can knock them out of adjustment. You can bend one. You can, all kinds of things. That being said, optics today have gotten to a point where on red dots and stuff now, I'm not even running backups anymore. There's no point. When's the last time you used a backup sight because your sight's failed somewhere? And bottom line is, if I want, I can rip off the quick disc mount. Optics are better, faster, more accurate. Any optic than irons. I would push you toward getting at least a red dot. Hell, you can get pretty reliable ones. You can get ones you can certainly trust that will always work for $198. Sometimes even less. But a nice primary arms for under $200, easy. You should be shooting a minimum a dot. So I would work your way toward it. I would urge you. You'll be better, faster. And at the end of the day, that's going to offer you a lot of protection. Let's see. The powder choice may be causing that. Yeah, the fouling for sure. Joe's heading off to bed. Good night, Joe. Thanks for coming, and Merry Christmas, Joe, if I don't talk to you between now and then. Squeaky, the Eotech story that only took 2 hours to explain, right? I know. I had a lot added in there too, so don't give me crap on that. But and we went over a lot of other stuff too. All right, so what did I add to the AK family? And some of you guys are going to give me crap about it because you're going to say, well, Chris, you told us that that's not an AK. And I'll say, yeah, you're right. But at the end of the day, it kind of is. And I've always said that. So I got a little Ace pistol in, drum roll, please. What do you guys think I got it in? What caliber? Consider what I have, what I don't have, not even one single one, what it's available in, and what you think I bought it in. Somebody throw a couple ideas down here, what I got. So Galil Ace pistol. They've always been, it's a Galil Ace, but what caliber? What caliber did I get it in? The Galil Ace has always been, anything out of Israel is fabulous, right? It's always been a quality. Here, they took the AK and they made it better, just like they do so many things. In this case, it was actually a Velmet that it started from, but a Velmet is an AK variant. But they started with the Velmet and they made their changes from there. So yeah, it's pretty much an AK action. But the reason I say, or I've told you guys in the past, don't consider the Galil an AK. The only reason I said it is not because it isn't or isn't based on it. I think it should have a class onto its own because it's that nice a rifle, that well designed, and in a class of its own, separate from the AK. I think it should be kept separate from the AK because it deserves it. I've always said that. When I said it, and I've explained that exact thing before. I've told you guys, I think it deserves more praise on its own for what it is as its own rifle, not necessarily an AK. That's how good it is. Anyhow, I've wanted one for years. When I was first jumping back in, that was one of considerations. I was either going to get I'll say, I don't usually use the term, but I was going to get an upgraded or Gucci AK or a Galil Ace because I wanted a really fine rifle. I didn't want the beat up Wasser or whatever. I wanted something nicer. I wanted to go to war gun essentially in the AK platform. So what I was considering most was the Galil Ace at the time. And I ended up with the Krebs, and I'm glad I did because it's an awesome rifle. However, I did, yeah. So here, there's 545. What IWI did was they came out on the Galil Gen 1. They built 550 roughly 545s as a test market. They were building the guns in 7.62, 5.56, and 308. And right before the last of the Gen 1s came out, they built 550 some odd 545 guns. And people snapped them up so quick that now they went to a full run in Gen 2. The Gen 2 gun is a little different. In a lot of ways, it's better. In a few ways, I kind of wish they had done a couple of different things. The handguard for one, but the rest of it, I think, is a plus. It just looks a little more generic. It doesn't quite have that completely Galil look. Some of it was made a little more generic, but the quality is exceptional. It's fabulous. The brace is wonderful. It's smooth. It's a Galil Ace. So now they're making 545. It's available. You got 545, 556, 762 by 39. Now you got a rifle at a 16-inch barrel. You've got the pistol at an 8-inch barrel, and you've got a mid-length gun at 13 and a half inches, actually 13.3, but they say 13.5. All they had was pistols, and I wanted a pistol. It's these guns, they've never been easier to SBR. I'm going to SBR this thing. And the reason being is they used to have a different stock tube and stock. They had their own when they should have went on the Gen 1s to just an M4 buffer tube, and then you would have been able to put any stock you wanted on it. But because of that, to SBR it and all, you would have had to change all kinds of stuff. It would cost you a solid $1,000 to SBR the thing. Well, now with the Gen 2 and the standard M4 buffer tube and all, you can SBR this thing for next to nothing. And it's perfect. However, with that 8-inch barrel, there's two things that won't work. Number one, 5.56 won't work. You're going to lose way too many feet per second. It's going to drop huge. And the same with 5.45. So that rules out 5.45. So I got a 7.62 by 39 gun. Yes, I know. I'm boring, same old, but I got lots of mags and I got lots of ammo to feed it. So that's the good part. Do I want a 5.45? Yes, if I do one 5.45, it will be an ace. And here's why. I can do the 13 and a half inch barrel and get everything out of that 5.45, or if I went 5.56 case, I'm getting everything out of it. Maybe I lose 100 feet per second between 16-inch and the 13 and a half. Maybe. That's acceptable. That's a great compromise for a 5.45 gun. It's handy. It's fast. It's cool. It's short. I can SBR it or leave it alone. and it takes full advantage of those two cartridges, because those two cartridges, to be effective, require speeds up around 2,300 feet per second, 2,200 feet per second. The 5.56 doesn't get there till a minimum of at least an 11.5-inch barrel. And same roughly with the 5.45. But for sure at that 13.5, you'll be at those speeds where that bullet will come apart and do what it's supposed to do. So when they get in a 13.5 in 5.45, you can rest assured that's we'll add that one too. But right now, this thing's super cool. As usual, delay. So unfortunately, instead of doing a video for you tonight on it, I'm waiting for things to go through. So we'll see. We'll have it soon. Super cool. Expensive compared to everything else out there right now. No, right in line, if not cheaper than a lot. Bad thing, doesn't come with any sights. Gen 1 came with an integral front sight and I think the back was a rail mounted sight, if I'm not mistaken, but no sights now. Kind of weird. And I like those Galil style sights. I thought maybe I don't know what kind of, if I do SBR, I don't know what kind of stock. If I could go with like a CNC, well, then I'd have to find, it's got an M4 stock adapter, so I guess we'll stay that way just. But anyhow, cool gun, smooth, nice. Love IWI stuff, so it's going to be fun. Finally got one, cool addition, and you guys will see a lot coming out of that. Not sure what I'm going to do for Optic yet, but I think because of the full rail and everything, I think we might go hog wild and do maybe a Vortex Razor 1x8. That's a fabulous scope. A lot of money, but man, what a scope. At a minimum, I don't think I'll do a Strike Eagle. I think I'll do a Primary Arms. To me, I like it a little better. We'll see. I don't know. But I think we're definitely doing a LPVO on this. It'll look cool on that short gun. It'll work out. We'll definitely get... the thing will be ridiculous out to at least 150. At 100, it'll be spot on, and up close, well, I'll deal with it being a little slower with the LPVO, but I want to stretch this thing out a little bit. I think it'll be a pretty accurate gun for being such a shorty. So looking forward to it. Not sure what we're going to add otherwise, but I don't think it needs much either. So not sure what you guys think of the Galils, but they're certainly cool. So we got a lot going on. We've got the Buy 39 project. I guess I will throw some of that out there, if nothing for nothing else, maybe like a blooper roll or something, right? We've got this Go to War AR to bring you, along with it, with all these Eotechs on it and everything and all the other stuff. We'll bring you a rifle on that, a video on that, and lots of other stuff. It's just kind of stock stuff I got right now and some shooting video. We won't have much till after Christmas now, unless I get the chance to get out there a little bit, but we'll see. So kind of cool. I think it's a lot of cool stuff coming. Let's see. Save the Bee says, I rock an aim point comp M5 on my go-to rifle. Aim points are awesome. Like what, the 30 millimeter one you're talking about? The tube red dot? If that's what you're running, I run the Primary Arms version of it. Super tough, nice. I got it on a shorty 10.5-inch AR. Hattori Hanzo. Galil, yes, Galil. 5.45, yeah, I was gonna do it, but It didn't make sense till they get the one with the 13.5-inch barrel. Then it makes sense. I'm a big fan of the Glills. I have one in 556, I assume. 555 Gen 1. I like the Gen 1. I like the handguard with the removable rails. I think that screams ace. The new one has an M-lock floating handguard. Floating, you got to use loosely because what? You got a gas tube attached to the barrel, right? So what good does a floating handguard do for you? I don't know. But different things. They didn't knurl the cocking lever on it like they did before. I think the brace is nicer. The tube is nicer. Less lightning cuts on it, so it's more like a slab side. So maybe not as much character. It just doesn't have that complete like Galil look or character, kind of. It's muted a bit, like I said, muted. You can certainly still tell it's a Galil, but I think that Gen 1 had a few things that just made it stand out. But certainly the stock is way better because now you SBR easy, cheap, and I think we'll do it. I also saw while I was there, for you guys that have seen my Spanish Set Me video, I love that gun, by the way. It's so cool and different, fun to shoot. They had some now in the black instead of the OD green. Good looking rifle in the black. He also had a green one there, a factory SBR. So if you guys remember that gun in that video, they weld and pin an extended flash hider on and barrel extension on there. It's super easy to get rid of, and they send you from the kit the factory flash hider for it. So I can drill that out, take it off, apply for my tax stamp and paperwork, and put the muzzle brake on, and I got an SBR. And he had it with the original experimental handguard on it, which I don't think is anywhere near as comfortable as the one that's on it now. But like he said, there's something kind of cool about that experimental handguard. You know, I guess it's a little flex on the other guys that don't have it, like he said. Maybe I'd run it, but I really like the feel of the other one. So what I went there for today was an MP5, HK MP5. They had one last time I was there, and I was ready to get it today. I walked in, and when it was not there, I was really disappointed. I was like, damn, I missed out. And I was just going to wait because I got another place to get one, a really cool one. But, you know, you're there, you got to get something. So probably shouldn't have, because now I got to wait longer to order the MP5, but ended up with that Galil at a decent price. So the MP5 is still coming, but I bet some of you guys are a little upset that you didn't get to see an MP5 on the channel. It's just the more I thought about it, looked at it, and researched more, and the more I shot that Spanish Set Me, the more I thought, I want that MP5. And they're expensive, but that gun's going to be worth. Look what these HKs are going through the roof. It wouldn't shock me if an MP5 is at $5 or $6 grand 4 years from now. Wouldn't shock me at all. So that's how we ended up. No MP5, but did that. I was going between that and the Hugo M85 pistol. But frankly, for the first time, I was really disappointed in Zastava. I won't say really. I was kind of thrown off because I don't see anything wrong out of Zastava. Their stuff is so nice. You know how much I love it. That ZPAP, everything they do, all the parts are done, finished, milled so well, polished, blued. put together, fit and finish. They run great. Probably the nicest parts out there. How as far as how they finish them, and then how they fit them together too is magnificent. Just such nice guns. I looked at this M85, and I just want one because I love Yugos and I want to have one in my Yugo family. Um, but I thought about it compared to my Sam 744, my pistol. God, that Sam is so much nicer. This thing, the sights were cheap. The rear sight with the aperture you can flip was mounted and bent one way. And for the first time ever, I think, on any Yugo I've ever owned, and I've owned a lot of them, or shot, or even picked up at a store, the front sights were canted on two of them. I was ready to do it. And I said, well, you got another one? It's still in the box? He said, yeah, I'll go get it. I pulled that one out, and it was canted. At least I thought it was. I don't know, but I'm the one that's got to look at it, right? Could I fix it? Sure. I don't want to do that. I've done that too many times. And so it was weird out of Zastava. That rear sight is cheap, thin, crappy. Front sight being off a little. This also had the little rail between the rear sight and where the hinge goes, which at first I thought, I don't know if I want that, but it did come with the rear pick rail where you can take that pick rail off and mount CNC Warrior brace like I did on the Sam 7. Side mount the same one. So to get that, you got to go with that rail, and I didn't think the rail looked how the gun should look. It wasn't original enough. So that being said, I passed on it. I'll still get one, but I don't know. I just it threw me off. You know, everything out of Zastava has been nice over the years. NPAPs, OPAPs, ZPAPs, their M90s, M91s, all fabulous, fabulous, beautiful rifles. And this thing just didn't sit. I don't know if it was a bad batch or just that rifle, whatever, or pistol. I don't know. Just, I was sorry I had to pass it. That's what I was going to do. But I think I made a good choice, and it'll be kind of cool. So glad to see it, and can't wait to get it and get it to you to show you. Any more questions out of you guys? Otherwise, I'm going to cut it here. We're at 2 hours, 45 minutes. Man, that's a long time. We did 4 hours the other night, guys. That's crazy. Let's see. Save the Bee says he's a big fan of the Galil. He's got one. Squeaky Cooler. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Merry Christmas to you and your family, Rock. Always great content. Thanks for what you do. Well, thank you, guys. Thank all of you for everything you do and for coming on here and listening. I hope I add a little bit to your weekday, break it up a little bit, and that you learn a little bit, get a good laugh. Because I certainly give you enough to laugh about sometimes. That's for sure. Jesus. I hope you enjoy what's coming, and here's to a good year. Get back on track and really rock it out this year. Grow the channel, bring you guys some great content, some great guns, learn a little bit along the way with the reloading. I can't wait to see how this Spy 39 project turns out. And there's so many cool things I still want to bring you as far as just firearms. There's so many out there still that I forget about. And I stop in somewhere, I go, oh, God, I need that. I want to bring them that. I want to show them that. And yeah, so keep watching for the videos. If you're not subscribed, please do so. If you can share the video with anyone, friends, family, please share it. Make them part of the chat. Make them part of it. They'll have fun. And we grow everything, the sport, the channel, and our knowledge. Bill Carson, hey, got a Mollet Vepper 74. Keeper? Absolutely, dude. That's the last of the Russians. the last true Russians to come in, and the 74s did not sell as well as the 7.62 guns. So there's not as many out there. If I were to keep 174 or own 174, it would be that gun. Matter of fact, if you want to get rid of it, I'm your man, because I would like to have one. I have my Vepr FMs folder and a fixed stock in 7.62, and I want to have one 5.45 gun. So if I were to come across a Vepr, that would be what I would get. And I get it. You probably want to keep it, but if you're not into that or something, by all means, drop me an email. Maybe we'd work something out. I don't know. But interesting gun. And a great quality gun. Doesn't get any better than a Vepr. Hopefully it's an FM. That would be cool. Divik, Merry Christmas. Fire Rodder, Merry Christmas all. Who else here? Cool, thanks. I guess that means you don't want to sell it, huh, Bill? I tried. I'm not trying to steal it from you. I give you what it's worth. It is. Yeah, it's a cool gun. Awesome. That's a good note to end on. Yeah, Veprs, guys, you come across a Vepr, by all means, if you can grab it, grab it. That's, watch my Vepr videos. We're going to pull those out and do a lot more with the Veprs. They deserve it. I haven't shot them in a while, haven't done any videos on them in a while, and they're so good. God, they're so good. We'll do some testing with once we get these rounds worked up. We're going to shoot them across the board and see what we come up with. I guarantee you the Veprs are right up top there. Heavy barrel, RPK trunnions, heavy bulge trunnions, heavy receiver, heavy gun. If a Vepr has one drawback, it's that it's heavy to carry and all. But what makes it heavy makes it accurate. So good gun. Good gun. Love them. Love them. I wish they were still here. It's such a shame they went away. Yeah, it's up there. Look at my favorite videos. Vepr's right in there. Anyhow, 2 hours, 46 minutes, 46 seconds on 12/21/21. That's all she wrote, boys and girls. Any more questions? Real quick. Going 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. What do we got here? Got my Vepr and my HK SP5. You're the man. Yeah, it don't get no better than that. If you want to fill those top tier spots, you're well on your way. Outstanding job. Get some more. That's all I can tell you. Get them while you can, because when they go away, guys, they do one of two things. They get more expensive and they get harder to find. If you got the money to burn, it's no problem finding them. You'll get them, but you're going to pay up. So maybe Ukraine will start importing soon. Hey, India too. India got all the setup from, was it Poland? Poland set them up in the AK industry, I heard. I think it was Poland. So, hey, maybe we get a bunch sent over. But like anything from India, yeah, quality probably be a little questionable. I don't know. It's like their knives, They're like, I don't know. Just not there. I don't know. Also, we got to get some Polish guns. Got to do some Polish guns. Tommy Guns is here. About time, man. Oh, I didn't see that was you at the Ukraine. Importing Russian AKs. Absolutely. Absolutely. They better. Maybe they get themselves a big supply of them. Wouldn't that be nice? Taken directly from the source? Yep, that would be awesome. All right, guys. I guess that's it. You guys are all set. Again, to all of you for this entire year, for showing up here, for watching the videos, for giving to the channel, for dealing with me during a super hard year with losing my son. I thank you all. I really do. Without you guys and without being able to do this and take my time up with it, I'd be a mess, a bigger mess than I am. I appreciate it so much more than you will ever know, because it just gives me something to do and keep my mind off it. So, um, thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless the USA, and God bless our Constitution and everybody that contributes to this magnificent industry and our hobby. And hold your family tight this week and on Christmas. Have a great new year. Love all of you. And thanks very much. As always, Rockford Ordnance out. Night, guys.